everybody, thank you for joining me today. So for our Technique video today, we're going to be working with this Technique Tuesday stamp, and it does have a matching die, but we're actually not going to use the die today. We're going to be embossing the flower stamp in white embossing powder, and we're going to do a little resist technique. So I'm just showing you, I have the pillow, I'll call it a pillow for the powder, to make sure that it takes all the oils off the card so that the embossing powder doesn't stick anywhere we don't want it. So I'm showing you that one. And the key with the powder is just making sure that you use more than you probably think you should, because you want really for it to work, you really got to see it. Now this one right there, I was just trying to show you, you know, some people have trouble with the lid. So I work it by pressing on it and popping it, and then it comes off. And the same thing, I make sure I see the powder on the card so that way I know my embossing powder isn't going to stick to anything else but the Versamark ink that we put down. Once we get those both covered, we're going to heat up our heating tool. And real quick, I'm just going to heat this up, and I'm using some paper that I have in my stash, but it's thick paper, almost like the Nina that you can get. At one point we had it in the boutique, I believe. When they're thick papers, you don't have as much warping, but you could still have warping depending on how long, obviously, you're keeping the heat on the paper. So what we're going to do is, my idea was on one card we would start in the center with the pink and work our way out to the yellow, and then on the other card we would do the opposite, start with the yellow in the center and work out to the pink. And what I like about these oxide inks is it's very, from what I can tell, you know, everyone was saying that they blend so well, and it's so easy to blend, and it is true. I didn't feel like I had any of those sharp lines that sometimes you get, and since it was still a little wet when I was doing the pink and the yellow together, it kind of was creating a little bit of an orange hue. So these are going to be fun to play with for a little while. I'm just cleaning up my mat here, and I realized I should have been using my craft mat, and I don't know where I put it at the moment. So I'm just going to put down a piece of paper, scrap paper, hitting the yellow, which is the fossilized amber, and the pink we're using is the worn lipstick. And we're just going around the edges, and then once I do the outside edge, I always go back in with whatever the middle color is and try to make sure that it's all blending. And then I just take the cloth over the embossed part, so that way the white embossed ink will pop out more. Alright, so now we're going to work on the sentiment. I'm going to make both of these Mother's Day cards. On the one, I'm going to stamp Mother, and then on the other card, I'm going to stamp Happy Mother's Day. And I brought out the trusty and goody Stamp-A-Ma-Jig, which allows you to see where you want to place your sentiment, especially with some of the foam stamps. You know, it's not clear, so you can't see through it to place it yourself. So the Stamp-A-Ma-Jig helps you get perfect placement. So same thing with the second sentiment. I'm trying to see if Mother's gonna fit. It wasn't. I think I got this flower more centered right in the middle, so I had to go with the Happy Mother's Day, and it worked perfect right in the bottom right hand corner, and it stamped perfectly straight. And then I took the clear embossing powder just over the sentiment, because I wasn't sure if the distress ink was completely dry, so I didn't want to wind up pouring it over the entire thing. But it came off pretty easy, especially with the Mother. And what's nice is with those sentiments, it makes it stand out because it gives it a shine. Alright, Alright, so now we're going to attach it to our card fronts, and since we had some mild warping, I'm just going to use foam tape on the back for each one so it gives it a little bit of dimension. And I'm just laying that down real quick using the Tim Holtz snips. If you guys haven't used these, I highly suggest them. I really like all the Tim Holtz scissors, from the super big one to the one in the middle, in between. They cut so well, and I love the fact that, you know, they're like non-stick. Alright. And then we're just placing that. And then we're going to take the backing off of the second one. And right about here, I started thinking about how everyone was saying this operates with the water. So I decided to I was looking for my distress sprayer because I wanted to spray some water on the front of the card. Not a whole lot, I didn't want to go too crazy. But once you spray it, you should let it sit for a few seconds so that way you can get the color lifting up. And once you do it once, if you can control it, you can spray in other spots on the card and do the same thing. So it gives you a really interesting background to a really beautiful card. You know, you can even put sequins on this. You could put Nouveau drops or even stickles if you have those. So there's a lot you can do with it, but even in this state, I think it's really pretty and just very simple. Alright, you guys, thank you for joining me today. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and share button. And at the end of the video, there will be 3 previous technique videos that we will link to. So if you guys missed any of them, or if you want to check out some of the ones that we've done before, they are going to be right here for you. Thank you guys so much, and have a great day.